Carlos Muñoz Ferrada, the Chilean astronomer, explains through the differences across the cosmos. This is due to a catastrophic approach of Planet X, called Hercolubus, which will eventually pass 14 million kilometers away from the Earth, accelerating. The Great Geophysical Change is already advancing. The Chilean astronomer specified the mass, velocity, orbital path and the terrible consequences beginning to produce by Hercolubus and the Planet X system. The people of Chile recognized the godfather of Planet X, Muñoz Ferrada, for his mathematical accuracy regards to the earthquake that devastated the south of the southernmost country in 1939. The accuracy was such an event that Ferrada even set the date of the earthquake, which was published in the journal Conception. He was only wrong by differences of 2 hours. The disaster claimed the lives of 60,000 people. Here are some scientific data revealed by Muñoz Ferrada, the genius in geophysics, regarding to Hercolubus, who discovered numerous stars, galaxies and comets, and accurately forecasted earthquakes, climate change, volcanic eruptions and changes in the orbit of the Comet Halley. Please be aware of the characteristics of Hercolubus. According to the Chilean astronomer Carlos Muñoz Ferrada, it is a red planet which presents an elliptical orbit of a comet and great mass of a planet. In other words, a planet with a tail. The star is charged with cosmic energy, as to say, referred to radiation, which according to the scholars alter the behavior and health and will provoke incurable pandemics, does not meet the established celestial physical laws, travels between the Sun and the Black Sun, which is found 32 trillion kilometers away, will pass 14 million kilometers from Earth. It is approximately 6 times bigger than Jupiter. It approaches of 40 million kilometers from our world, will exercise disastrous attractions upon the liquid minerals inside the Earth, provoking tremendous internal pressures and therefore volcanoes and also earthquakes. It will end up penetrating our solar system, visible also to the naked eye, and also it will be photographed. Its arrival will cause human and geological changes, bringing change and destruction. Mr. Ferrada did not say that the great final catastrophe would occur on August the 11th, 1999, but that from the date of the geophysical and climate changes would indeed intensify, as well as earthquakes of volcanic origin and seaquakes and tsunamis. He also stated that Hercolubus will be photographed from that very date on, and that its apparent appearance in August 1999 also will be bigger than the Moon. Indeed, this is how the planet has been seen and photographed through different channels and also pictures of interest, even though the official media have given the phenomenon various false explanations. Now you can see for yourselves, see the various photographs and videos of 2 suns, our various web pages, newspapers and books and magazines. However, the great Chilean astronomer did not mention during this interview that the great planet glows in infrared range, which makes it difficult to see with the naked eye, and only special conditions of light through the clouds, through special filters, or when the weather or the astrological phenomena allow it. This is so important, folks. There will become a time when Hercolubus will be permanently visible as a second sun and in a common conditions of broad daylight. This is why it is rediscovered in the 80s by the orbiting infrared telescope IRAS, whose head was Dr. Robert Harrington. He was supervisor of the orbiting observatory of the North American Astronomical Agency. After 5 years of the study, Dr. Harrington revealed the discovery calculating that the star would pass very close to our world, and that from soon after different years of calculations, its consequences could be very serious. The reports were published in North American newspapers and magazines, and our videos which offers testimonies of Dr. Robert Harrington, such as the interview that was done by him by the writer Zachary Sitchin in 1990. Soon after the mysterious physical disappearances of the science and its assistants in the charge of the mission of the telescope IRAS raised certain concerns worldwide. There's really been much speculation about the mysterious disappearances of the scientists. Okay, now folks, think about this. For the year 2021, look at the changes towards our skies at random times. Look towards our surroundings, towards what is happening, and in relation to Hercolobus, as well as the scientists at the service of the large groups of economic and political power would publish various false interpretations in order to try to cover up the reality of this planet, which is approaching, and like this to protect the finance markets. Have you ever wondered why our skies have changed for a good number of years? I'd like to explain that they have posted that the observed star is Mars, or some visiting star, which we've seen and observed in 2017 and 2018, and they have invented scenarios to justify the fall of the satellites and shuttles, as well as the terrible electromagnetic and radioactive storms throughout the whole of our solar system. Some might say, who is Carlos Muñoz Ferrada? He was born in 1909 in south of Chile, died September the 11th, 2001. The area of view site as well with this part of information was the 5th region city where he had his residence and observatory. It is said that one day a friend went to visit him and found him housed in a tent on his patio of his house, saying that soon, according to him, a great earthquake will occur. Some laughed upon him, hearing his scientific projections, but this visitor got worried because Muñoz Ferrada had never failed in the calculations of previous disasters. A few days after meeting Muñoz Ferrada, there was a major earthquake in Chile in 1985. He studied meteorology and astronomy at the University of Chile. He also studied engineering and physics at the Railways of Chile. He specialized in the Astronomical Society in Paris. He was leading member of the Astronomical Society in Milan and was director of the Astronomical Observatory in Panama for 5 years. A part of his scientific discoveries of new stars and galaxies before they were seen by a large telescope of the world. The observations of the solar system were sent to the Royal Astronomical Association of London, prompting the institution to declare, due to the unusual case of Mr. Carlos Muñoz Ferrada, from now on each new star will take a name of him who first calculated it and not who accidentally discovered it with a telescope. 25 scientists at the Royal University of London were also given Muñoz Ferrada for the first time was written reports regarding the discovery of Hercolobus, of this catastrophe, consequences it would cause to our planet, and all the information was discarded and hidden. Muñoz Ferrada earned his respect towards the Chileans for his ability to anticipate climate and geophysical disasters, but he was also often imprisoned because every time he came down from his home towards Park Plaza Victoria or even Park O'Higgins, the authorities put him into prison for disturbing the peace and causing anxiety. Certainly, according to strong testimonies and also inhabitants, he was dodgily pursued by the authorities, who particularly did not allow him to appear in public. In order to explain his observations and predictions, Muñoz Ferrada theorized geomagnetics, which is based on the attractions of heavenly bodies in large explosions in the sun and the cycles of geophysical disturbances. With the method, he predicted earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, climate changes, discovered new planets and their orbits and other features. According to the famous astronomer Ferrada, the earthquakes are causing the gravitational influence of a few stars and others, rather than accidental movements of the tectonic plates. On June the 28th, 1999, on Channel 4, on the television of Puerto Rico, after 50 years of investigations and scientific documentations, the great Chilean astronomer at 90 years of age revealed the absolute precision of 3 velocities that Planet X, in its orbit, its velocity as it passes close to the dead sun, or the black star, according to the middle of its elliptical orbit, and the third as it passes close to our sun, towards 1,000 of speed, light years, and 40 million kilometers from the Earth. Carlos Muñoz Ferrada was a scientific genius, misunderstood by many, according to those who knew him, a successful astronomer in his doctrine and practical life. The daughter of Ferrada, Miss Marina Muñoz, has spoken of her father in the following manner. He was a man way ahead of his century in which he lived. There was so much to learn from him, but his knowledge was not always fairly valued. Indeed, folks, just listening to this very short broadcast, did Carlos Muñoz Ferrada, the Chilean astronomer, predict and also notice the surrounding changes towards our world, the implications of Nibiru, Planet X, that has entered our solar system, discharging towards all the known heavenly bodies and our soul, the sun?